Hello friends, welcome to my channel Speak Root. Today we're going to listen to a powerful story based on a very simple thing, a book. But not just any book. It's going to be emotional, deep, and maybe even life-changing. If you're new here and haven't subscribed yet, please do, because I upload one inspiring English learning story every single day. The first time I spoke English in front of my class, my voice cracked, my face burned, and my classmates laughed. I pretended to smile, but inside, I felt something quiet break. That day, I stopped trying to speak English out loud. I grew up in a small town in Bangladesh. Not many people spoke English around me, except on TV. My father once said, "If you want to change your future, learn English." I nodded, but never told him how much I feared it. It wasn't the words, it was the shame I felt every time I got them wrong. In school, I was good at writing, I could memorize essays. But whenever the teacher asked me to speak something in English, my mind went blank. My throat tightened. Sometimes I pretended I was sick, just to avoid that moment of humiliation. I still remember a group presentation in 10th grade. My friends made fun of my accent behind my back. But one of them said it to my face. "Bro, just don't talk. You'll embarrass us." I laughed it off like a joke, but that night, I cried silently into my pillow. For years, I avoided situations where I had to speak English. Even when I joined college in Dhaka, I stuck to Bengali. It was safe, it was familiar. But every time I saw someone confidently speaking English, a part of me wished I could be them. Then came the real test, a job interview with a big multinational company. I had cleared the written exam easily, but during the HR round, I froze. I was trying to explain why I wanted the job. I knew the words in my head, but they wouldn't come out. The interviewer waited patiently, but I could feel the silence cutting through me. I didn't get the job. And that was the first time I truly broke down. Not because I wasn't smart, but because I couldn't speak clearly in English. I felt like a prisoner in my own mind. That night, I told my father I was going to stop trying. He listened quietly and said, "Son, if your tongue is weak, train your mind first. The rest will follow." I didn't understand it then, but those words stayed with me. And a week later, something unexpected happened. I was at a second-hand bookstore near my college. I wasn't looking for anything, just browsing. And then I saw a thin paperback titled, "You Can Speak English, Just Like You Think." It was old, the cover faded. But something about that title, it felt personal. I flipped through it. No grammar rules, no fancy tricks, just a story. About a boy who couldn't speak English and how he learned by talking to himself. The author said, "The biggest classroom is your mind. Start teaching yourself." I didn't even think twice. I bought the book. That night, I started reading it alone in my room. It didn't ask me to memorize vocabulary. It asked me to face myself. To speak alone out loud about anything, about how I felt, what I saw, what I wanted to say. It felt silly at first, talking to myself in English while brushing my teeth, describing the plate of rice in front of me, saying out loud, "This is my room, my bed is near the window." But the more I did it, the less afraid I felt. And then I found the first golden line in the book. "Speak like you think, not like you write." That hit me hard, because I was always trying to sound smart, but never trying to be real. So I changed my approach. I stopped trying to impress. I started trying to express myself. I'd talk to myself while walking, cooking, and showering, just simple things, but they became powerful. One day, I looked in the mirror and said, "Today I feel nervous, but I want to try." It was a small sentence, but it was the first time. I heard myself speak English with no fear, and I smiled. In my next college presentation, I asked to be the last speaker. I spent the night before rehearsing in my room. pretending I was speaking to 10,000 people. And I told myself, you don't need to be perfect. Just be honest. When my turn came, I stumbled on the first line. I paused, I took a breath, and then I said, sorry, I get nervous speaking English, but I want to try. The room went silent, and then someone clapped. That was the moment I knew I had broken through something inside me. The turning point wasn't just that I improved. It was that I stopped punishing myself for every mistake. That one book didn't just give me tips. It changed my mindset. It taught me. You don't become fluent when you're perfect. You become fluent when you're brave. And bravery starts small. One sentence a day, one mirror talk, one self-conversation, one moment of choosing to try even when it feels scary. I started writing small dialogues and speaking them aloud. Simple ones like, how was your day? I went to the market. I recorded myself, listened, and smiled at the awkward pauses. Slowly, the pauses shrank. I wasn't scared of speaking anymore because I realized English wasn't a weapon. It was just a tool. And tools don't judge you. They just wait for you to use them. Months later, I applied for another job, another MNC, another HR round. This time, the interviewer asked, can you tell me about a time you overcame a weakness? I smiled and said, yes, this one right now. And I told her my whole story. My fear, my book, my self-practice, my mirror talks. She didn't interrupt me once. When I finished, she said, we need people like you. I got the job. My life changed, not because of grammar rules or big courses, but because that told me to speak like I think, to practice like nobody's watching, and to forgive myself when I'm not perfect. If speaking fluent English has been a struggle for you too, I know how it feels. I went through it too. But one small thing changed my life, something I still use. I have left a special link in the description for you. Don't forget to check it out. Thank you.